Good evening, I'm David Brown, and this is the Northern Sun Experience. Well, we are less than 3 weeks away from the Division II football playoffs, and nothing has been cleared up in the NSIC. Minnesota State and Sioux Falls, both presumed to be easy choices in Super Region 3, lost their first games of the year last week at home, and each would look to rebound away from their friendly confines. We're going to start with the former number one team in the nation, Minnesota State, who visited Southwest Minnesota State. Up 7-3 in the second when Nick Piericini finds Brent Esser off play action, 6-yard strike, and the Mavs go up 14-3. It's 28-3 in the third when Piericini decides to do it himself. Off play action, he eventually takes off, weaving his way through SMSU defenders to the end zone, 15-yard run, and it's 35-3. Then later in the fourth, Piericini goes back to the air deep to Taylor Johnson, 280 yards passing, 53 rushing, 6 all-purpose touchdowns for Piericini as Minnesota State rolls 55-17. Sioux Falls looking to get back on the winning track at Concordia St. Paul, and the first quarter was coming up roses. Luke Papillion to Brady Rose, and he does the rest, breaking away for an 84-yard touchdown, the longest one of the season for the Coup, and they take a 7-0 lead. A Rose by any other name may be just as sweet, but why go away from the original? Brady Rose with a short touchdown here, and it's 14-0, still in the first, and it's Rose for the third time, 11-yard strike from Papillion. The junior quarterback had 6 touchdowns, as Sioux Falls tops Concordia St. Paul 49-0. Minnesota Duluth had a shot to move up the rankings at Northern State, but the Wolves were up to the challenge. Zach Barber gets the 23-yard touchdown, and NSU's up 20-7. Later in the third, UMD looking to come back. Drew Bauer keeps it on the run to cut the lead down to 5, but some late defense would eventually turn the game in NSU's favor, and they would celebrate a huge victory. Northern State tops Minnesota Duluth 23-15. We'll take a look at the Super Region 3 rankings a little bit later, but when we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, more football highlights, including Augustana hoping to ride its big key to the city win from last week into its matchup with Upper Iowa.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. With Minnesota Duluth's loss to Northern State, believe it or not, Bemidji State has a chance to take the division lead in the NSIC North. The Beavers have won 5 games in a row, and that includes the last 4 within the North Division. Looking to make it 6 in a row overall at Minot State, and starting off on the right foot. Jordan Hines' 6-yard run makes it 15-0 Bemidji State. Minot State wouldn't make it easy, however. Jose Escobar to David Alanis' 6-yard touchdown of his own cuts the BSU lead to 15-7. But Bemidji State would pitch a shutout from there while increasing its own lead. They get this 1-yard Tony Peterson touchdown, and then on another rush by Gina Adams, this one from 28 yards away, Bemidji State wins the Battle of the Beavers 32-7 over Minot State. 4-4 Wayne State at 4-4 Winona State. Wildcats up 3-0 in the first, but not for long. Jack Nelson to Lorenzo Mitchell, 16 yards, and the Warriors take a 7-3 lead. After a Wayne State score, Winona takes the lead right back in the second. Eric Berth finds some space, shakes off some tacklers, 30 yards to Pater, and the Warriors go up 14-10. They're up 28-10 in the third when the Wildcats claw back. First, it's Lane Yates on the keeper from 6 yards out, and it's 28-17. Next Wayne State possession, it's Ryan Ludlow this time on the scamper. The Winona State lead is cut to 28-24, but that's as close as Wayne State would get. Nelson going deep off the right side for Cam Johnson, and he's got it, 28-yard strike, and Winona State wins the Battle of the W's over Wayne State, 45-31. Another pair of 500 teams met in St. Cloud, MSU Moorhead at St. Cloud State. Vance Barnes gets things started in a hurry for the Huskies, 96-yard kickoff return, and it's 7-0 St. Cloud State. Back come the Dragons. Demetrius Carr rolls out and airs it out to Damon Gibson, who spins away and stays on his feet. 72-yard touchdown, and we're tied at 7. But the Huskies would continue the air and ground assault from there. First on this 44-yard touchdown pass from Nate Meyer to Jamison Parsons, and then on this 80-yard run by Jaden Huff, St. Cloud State rolls up 59 on the Dragons in a 59-21 victory. Minnesota Crookston took on UMary Saturday, each team looking for its first win of the season, and it'd be the Marauders who get on the board first. Zach Graves takes the screen, goes 40 yards, 7-0 UMary. Back come the Golden Eagles in a back-and-forth affair. Adam Connick gets the short touchdown to square things up at 7. Graves did it once for the Marauders on the screen, and now he'll do it on the ground, somehow making it through the pile and taking it the distance, 38 yards, and it's 14-7 UMary. UMC would come back with a couple of touchdown passes to Constant Jackson, the second of which gives the Golden Eagles a 21-14 lead. We're tied at 21 when special teams comes into play. Off the blocked punt, Lincoln Tapp scoops it up, goes 17 yards the other way. Minnesota Crookston with a 28-21 lead heading into the fourth, but the Marauders would score all the points in the final stanza, capped by this 26-yard run by Adam Woronicki. And in a game with 4 different lead changes, UMary's play in the fourth proved to be the difference. The Marauders topped the Golden Eagles 33-28. And finally, Augustana looking to maintain momentum from the Key to the City victory, hosting Upper Iowa. On 4th and 3, Trey Hyde rolls out and throws it up to Matt Heller, who hauls it in. 39 yards, 7-0 Vikings. Later in the first, a much easier touchdown for Augie as Justin Greenway gets in from 1 yard out to make it 14-0. Peacock field goal cuts it to 14-3 in the second when this happens. Jason Greenway gets the kickoff at the 4, finds some space on the right side, and he does not stop. Plowing through Upper Iowa's kicker at midfield and going the distance, 96-yard kickoff return, 21-3 Augustana. 24-3 later in the second, and it's Justin Greenway regaining the touchdown lead from his brother, taking the screen and going 37 yards, 31-3 at that point, and Augie tops Upper Iowa 41-20. So here's our second look at the Super Region 3 rankings, and with just 2 weeks left in the regular season, things are starting to get tight. Despite its shutout victory, Sioux Falls actually drops from number 3 to number 4 in the regional standings, while Minnesota State and Augustana stay put at number 6 and 7 respectively. So all 3 teams would make the Division II playoffs if the season ended today. SMSU and Minnesota Duluth, which were numbers 8 and 9 respectively in the rankings last week, have now dropped out of the top 10 thanks to their losses over the weekend. So as we head into this Saturday, we have the game of the year at noon. 8-1 Minnesota State at 8-1 Sioux Falls. It's our Midco Sports Network game of the week and will be replayed on Tuesday, November 10th at 9 p.m. Our other noon matchup pits Southwest Minnesota State at Concordia St. Paul. Starting at 1, the University of Mary is at Minnesota State Moorhead, and Minot State is at Minnesota Crookston. Upper Iowa takes on Wayne State, and Augustana looks to keep itself in the Super Region 3 rankings as they visit Winona State. Northern State has won 5 in a row, and the Wolves will try to make it 6 at St. Cloud State. And in a pivotal matchup for the NSIC North, Minnesota Duluth visits Bemidji State. The Beavers have won 6 games in a row and currently have a 1-game lead over the Bulldogs for the North Division lead. When we come back, highlights from the last weekend of regular season play in NSIC soccer and a preview of the conference tournament.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back. NSIC soccer wrapped up its regular season this weekend, and once again, Minnesota State is at the top of the class. Last year's Sweet 16 finalists had the league's best record and looked to secure a second straight number 1 seed in the conference tournament. Mavericks traveled to Winona to take on the Warriors on Friday. 53rd minute, Minnesota State finally gets on the board. Kiana Nickel with the header, her 10th goal of the season, and MSU takes a 1-0 lead. Just 9 minutes later, Nickel would strike in a more conventional way, finding the right corner for the goal. That gave MSU a 2-0 lead, and they would hold on for the win, 2-1. Augustana hoping to solidify its standing as they hosted SMSU on Friday, but it would be tough sledding early on. Emily Jacobson's shot is stopped by the Mustangs, but persistence would eventually pay off for the Vikings in the second half. 72nd minute, Stephanie Stevens gets her own rebound and finally breaks through with the goal, her 8th of the year, and that's all Augie would need in a 1-0 victory. Another team fighting for a top seed in the tournament, Minot State, was at MSU Moorhead Friday, and it was the Nympha Ramirez show. Just 53 seconds into the match, her high kick gets over the Dragon Keeper's head, 13th goal of the season, 1-0 Beavers. Just 12 minutes later, Ramirez would strike again, going top shelf in the left corner, her 14th goal of the year, as Minot State rolls over MSU Moorhead 5-0. So with this weekend's results, here is the quarterfinal schedule for the NSIC Conference Tournament. Now, we recorded this on Wednesday morning, so most of these results are probably final, but at 1 o'clock, Minnesota State, the number 1 seed, hosted 8th-seeded Concordia St. Paul. At 2 o'clock, number 7 SMSU visited the 2-seed Augustana. At 5 p.m., the 3-seed Minot State hosted 6th-seeded Bemidji State, and the 4-5 matchup pit Winona State against St. Cloud State. The top remaining seed after the quarterfinals will host the semifinals on Friday, November 6th, and the conference championship on Sunday the 8th. Well, the official start of the NSIC basketball season is just a few short weeks away, but the University of Mary's men's and women's teams are already getting off on the right foot. Our Marauder correspondent Marissa DiCandido explains.
Washing children's feet and giving them a new pair of shoes doesn't necessarily seem like the first step towards changing their life, but the organization Samaritan's Feet believes those actions can make a huge difference.
That's the spirit of North Dakota. They care about their neighbor, and that's what we want to be able to do with this. How can we take it to the next level? By sitting down in front of these young kids, washing their feet, asking them their name, asking them their dreams, and telling these future generation that they are going to change our world.
University of Mary student athletes volunteered with the group on Sunday at Carey's Kids in Bismarck.
To do this with the other sports teams, it's really nice to show that school is just not about sports and school, but it's also about giving back to people who need help.
Manny Ahomey founded the organization when he saw a need both in his native country of Nigeria and here in the United States.
Across the United States, I was learning that parents had to make decisions. Do I buy food, do I buy medicine, or do I buy shoes for my kids? And I said, man, here's an injustice, something we can solve.
And Marauders athletes helped to solve that in the capital city by serving over 400 kids throughout the day.
It's one of those things, they're kids and it's a Sunday afternoon on their day off and they'd probably rather be doing a bunch of stuff, but once they get here, it's all smiles. They realize what they're doing, how important it is, and it's just really a cool environment.
Cattell says he hopes the student athletes will continue to give back to the community and represent the University of Mary in a positive way.
I think our guys and our girls and our programs need to take that responsibility and take it, face on and accept the challenge and try to make this place a better place while they're here.
Well, from one court to another, there's still a ton to be sorted out in NSIC volleyball. Heading into this past weekend, 5 NSIC teams were ranked in the top 9 of the national poll. We'll start with the highest-ranked team, number 2 Northern State, who welcomed number 6 Wayne State on Friday in Aberdeen. Already down 1 set, but fighting back. Kelsey Chambers with the lefty kill for the Wolves. But for the second game in a row, they would struggle against a top 5 opponent. Wayne State's Alyssa Fraundorfer gets a couple of kills in the second set, along with Elizabeth Gebhardt. Each of them had 15 kills on the night for the Wildcats, and Wayne State tops Northern State 3-1. Number 9 Minnesota Duluth hosted Winona State Friday. Bulldogs already up 2 sets, but Winona trying to stay in it on this kill by Danielle Rampart. But UMD would not let this one slip away. Taylor Wiskbrocker with the kill, and then it's going to be Monica Turner with the match point, as Minnesota Duluth tops Winona State 3-0. On Halloween, number 3 Concordia St. Paul took on Minnesota Crookston. Starting set 2, an unforced error by the Golden Bears gives the Golden Eagles their first set victory since October 20th. We're tied at 1 game apiece after that, however. Concordia would take care of business. Emma Lang finds a soft spot for the victory in set 3, and then it's Riley Hansen with the match point kill. Golden Bears shine brighter than the Golden Eagles 3-1. And check this out, the top 4 teams in the entire country are all from the NSIC. Concordia St. Paul regains the top spot at number 1 with 25 first-place votes, while Southwest Minnesota State moves up to number 2 with 10 first-place votes. Wayne State is now at its highest ranking of the year, checking in at number 3 with 1 first-place vote, while Northern State slips a few spots to number 4, they also get 1 first-place vote. Minnesota Duluth is ranked number 10, Augustana is number 20, and Winona State is number 24. Coming up next, we go under the Northern Sun at Minot State University.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. It's time to shine the spotlight on one of our member schools with a feature we like to call Under the Northern Sun. Tonight, it's Minot State University, where a deep athletic history has shaped the Beaver tradition.
Hi, I'm Michael Holman, a senior baseball player here at Minot State University.
And I'm Gemma Biasetto, a senior soccer and basketball player at MSU.
Welcome to our beautiful campus.
Let's go take a look around.
Completed in the early 1980s, the Dome is one of the largest indoor arenas in Division II as well as the Upper Midwest.
The Dome functions as the main hub for the Minot State University athletics.
Newly completed this fall is Red Vision, the largest indoor Daktronics video board in Division II. The Dome plays host to Beaver women's volleyball, men's and women's basketball, as well as wrestling. This 10,000-seat facility can play host to the largest of events in North Dakota, including high school state basketball tournaments. The Dome boasts 2 batting cages where Beaver baseball and softball can train indoors.
The Student Wellness Center is one of our newest additions to campus. Opening in 2012, MSU student athletes have the chance to focus on the 8 dimensions of wellness.
This 3-story building consists of a weight room, group exercise room, basketball courts, and the state-of-the-art workout machines.
To top it all off, our rock wall rises through all 3 stories and provides a challenging experience for all students.
MSU is celebrating 90 years of football this year, and no arena has been more vital to our tradition than Herb Parker Stadium. Named after the former coach and athletic director, Herb Parker Stadium first hosted a Beaver football game on September 19, 1964. Over 50 years later, the stadium has seen multiple renovations on its journey to becoming this beautiful facility that it is today.
Red Vision gives fans a top-notch game day experience, providing entertainment and fun for all. New to the mix this year is the Press Box. The facility hosts concessions and game day suites for the biggest Beaver fans in Minot.
Our Beaver baseball team calls Corbett Field home. One of Minot's most beloved landmarks, Corbett Field provides a great fan experience for Beaver baseball supporters.
Corbett Field was built in 1935 and has hosted professional and amateur baseball for nearly 75 years. Today, several teams call Corbett Field home, including the American Legion Vistas and Metros, 2 local high schools, and the Minot State University Beavers.
Newly renovated Swain Hall is home to our pedagogy lab and athletic training program. Certified athletic trainers from Trinity Hospital work relentlessly to ensure safety to our student athletes. Academically, Minot State is one of the premier universities in North Dakota. Top majors among student athletes include education, corporate fitness, and business management.
Minot State's school colors are red and green, and our mascot is Buckshot, the mighty beaver. Beavers are strong, achieve success as a team, and are unfailingly loyal. Minot State students are proud to root for the Beavers, and we're proud to be a part of the NSIC.
Coming up next, it's DBs Picks, my top 5 plays or moments of the past week in the NSIC.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. It's time for DBs Picks, my top 5 plays or moments of the past week in the NSIC. At number 5, we stay in Sioux Falls, where the H&H connection is better than that old bagel joint on Seinfeld. On 4th and 3, Trey Hyde throws it up and Matt Heller comes on down for the 39-yard touchdown. It doesn't matter what you throw at H&H because thanks to this connection, no bagel for the Vikings. A 7-0 lead would eventually turn into a 41-20 victory for Augustana, and it also turns into the number 5 play of the past week. For number 4, we honor the top 4 volleyball teams in the country, and they all hail from the NSIC. Concordia St. Paul, Southwest Minnesota State, Wayne State, and Northern State are ranked numbers 1 through 4 in the latest AVCA National Top 25 Coaches Poll. It may be a cutthroat conference tournament in a couple of weeks, but for now, let's congratulate and celebrate the top 4 teams at number 4. At number 3, Damon Gibson won't be denied. The big Dragon receiver hauls in the long pass from Demetrius Carr and spins away from the Husky tackler en route to a 72-yard touchdown. Here it is again, great concentration, and then keeping the play alive by getting some much-deserved yards after the catch. MSU Moorhead would eventually fall to St. Cloud State, but Gibson's grab and go checks in at number 3. At number 2, everything is coming up Brady Roses. The Cougar receiver gets the pass from Luke Papillion, breaks away from Concordia, and then does the rest. An 84-yard touchdown to give USF an early 7-0 lead. Number 5 had 3 first-quarter touchdowns in all, and nearly 160 yards receiving for the afternoon. But when more than half of those receiving yards come on one play, well, you don't really need rose-colored glasses to see that this was the second-best play of the past week. But our number 1 spot goes to Augustana's Jason Greenway for this 96-yard kickoff return touchdown against Upper Iowa. Not only does Greenway find some space off the right side, he also barrels over Upper Iowa's kicker on his way home. Now that score allowed Jason to match his brother Justin with 1 touchdown on the afternoon. Justin, however, would eventually get another one later in the game, but he doesn't top Jason Greenway as far as getting play number 1 of the past week in the NSIC. Once again, a thank you to all of our NSIC member schools for their contributions to this week's show. We'll be back next week right here for another Northern Sun Experience.